So, my name is Justin Sunseri. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist. I currently work for school districts. I'm not here on behalf of the school district. I'm just on my own, on behalf of my podcast. Basically, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't have any books. For some reason, it's important for me to say that. I feel like when I'm being advertised to, I just sort of tune out. But no, I'm just here presenting information, and I'm really hoping this has value for you and the children that you're working with that you serve in your homes, right? So I'm talking about something called the Polyvagal Theory. I'm sure everyone here has had some level of trauma training, right? You've had trauma presentations before. This one will fit with everything else you've probably learned, but it's something called the Polyvagal Theory, which is basically how mammals, but human beings in particular is why we're here, how we interact, how we connect, but also how we disconnect, how we react to danger, and we're going to go into all those steps in detail. What I really want everyone to do is put yourself first, though. We're talking about trauma. Nothing here is traumatizing. I will not talk about trauma details. It's not necessary. Nothing of the sort. But I know that every single person here will reflect on themselves, on their past, on their kids, the people they're serving, your parents, generations of trauma. I know people are going to go there, so I'm going to ask you to put yourself first, please. I did this presentation the first time. I've done this through the school district, by the way. And there was a woman sitting in the back, and she had this orange vest on. And it's just, I don't know, that sticks in my mind because the last hour of the training, even though I keep it very safe, she just checked out. She was gone. She had her head down. And so I really want to invite people. You don't have to be here if you're uncomfortable. So please, put yourself first. Get up and get water. I got water here because my mouth is already dry. Get water, use the restroom, do whatever you got to do. Please put yourself first, okay? Or finish it with something. If you got a pen, you want to click it, go right ahead. Polyvagal theory is the science of how mammals connect and respond to cues of danger, but also how we connect to each other. It has a lot to do with, we'll do a little bit of science, not going to go too heavy into this. It has a lot to do with the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system controls the body's internal environment. So breathing, heart rate, digestion, all these things you don't have to think about, your body just does them, right? The way we understand it is there's two main branches of the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic, which is where your motor gets going, and the parasympathetic, which is where the more calmer, kind of chill mode, right? My motor's going right now, so I'm more sympathetically aroused. That's why I'm not driving. And it's unconscious. You don't think about these things. This just happens without you having to direct it whatsoever. And it's important to know that every autonomic response, so every time that our autonomic nervous system responds to danger, and we'll go a lot more into this, it's about survival. It's not a choice. You've heard about like flight, fight, shut down, freeze, that kind of stuff. It's not a choice. No one chooses to do those things, just do it. Okay? So it's all about survival. So like we've heard about flight, fight, you may have heard about freeze. What we get wrong is that it's not an option, like I just said. It's not an option. We don't choose to run away. We don't choose to fight. We don't choose to shut down or freeze. We just do it. And it's not a choice. It's not a menu of options. It's a sequence of events. We actually have to go through each stage. So if we're confronted by potential danger, if we can't be in our safe state, that's the first autonomic nervous system is safe and social, being in the safe state, being able to make like eye contact. And we'll go more into that. But if we can't be safe, then our nervous system drops down to flight, fight. And but flight first, and then fight. So it's a sequence. And if that doesn't work, then we drop down to shut down. So that's why we call it the ladder, the polyvagal ladder. So you'll hear me talk about the ladder a lot. Okay? So it's not an option, it's not a menu of options, it's a sequence of events. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's a lot different than I think the way we're taught, but that really is. And in therapy, as kids tell me their stories, we can track this is the sequence you went through. Now sometimes you don't exactly skip it, but you may perceive the threat is so great, it looks like you skip it, but the energy is still kind of there. So do me a favor, take a deep breath right now. So what I want you to do is watch this. Just notice how your body reacts, how your face reacts, what sounds you make. Just kind of notice, okay? There's something. This is a very quiet group, by the way. It's always like this. No. Why are you looking back? Usually when I present this, people say, ooh, la, and all sorts of noises. And
when I first saw the cake, I said, oh, no, what happened? It's wrong. And then, events, a lot of...
And then the lines?
Yeah. What you say? Like,
The ruler one gets me.
get up and do it.
Alright, so you have permission to make noise, please. Otherwise, I have no idea what's going on. So I'm gonna do another video.
Want to go straight?
Yeah, I wanted to fix it. I wanted to fix it.
Yeah.
Me too.
There you go.
Start over.
Alright, how do you feel about this one? Please. How do you feel about it? Different reaction to that?
Yeah.
You feel different? Okay, alright. We have two more, and then we'll bring it all together, okay? Get ready. Let's skip around a little bit on this one. Is that enough?
It's more annoying than anything.
Alright, one more. What did you notice in your breathing? Just think about all four videos. What did you notice in your breathing, your body movements, your facial muscles, your eye contact with other people? What did you notice that shifted within you? Did any deep noise?
And everything. Got 10, so
You kind of like,
yeah.
Did anybody's voice kind of go like deeper?
Yeah.
Okay, with the more pleasant videos, what kind of noises did you hear? Laughter. It was a relief. Yeah. When you saw the
And then
doctor,
that lady was doing this like this. I was just holding my breath. I like, oh, what
yeah,
is
there you
she
go.
doing?
There you go.
Yeah.
That was annoying.
Yeah.
It was very uncomfortable. Usually when you show the tickle guy, everyone kind of goes, ooh, and they pull back. I know when I first saw that, it was a very like, ooh, like I really, my body like pulled back. It was just crazy. So what you experienced was shifts in your autonomic nervous system, just a little bit. It was like a little bit. It was tolerable, right? No one's traumatized by that stuff, right? So what you experienced was your voice changed, your ability to make eye contact changed, smile, your facial muscles changed. You weren't smiling in certain videos, right? You lost the ability to smile, right? So you dropped down that ladder a little bit in a tolerable, hopefully fun way. But that's what we're talking about, is a state shift, an autonomic nervous system state shift. Does that make sense? Okay. So your autonomic state is either basically safe and social, where you can make eye contact, be playful, or flight, fight, or shut down. It's a reaction to the outside world, like the videos. It's also a reaction to the internal world, so whatever stuff we walk into a room with just internally, that's part of our autonomic state. And then our perceptions of the outside world also will influence our autonomic state. Or even for internal world, people who have chronic illnesses, that's going to affect you day to day, day in, day out. And if the autonomic state is the filter that we experience the world through. So people who are in a safe social state, they're going to filter the world in a much different way than someone who's in flight, fight, or shutdown. There's a new word called neuroception, not hugely important, but it's the body's ability to detect risk outside of our conscious awareness. It shifts the body up and down the ladder to the different states. Okay, so we remember the ladder. The neuroception is the mechanism that causes us to go down the ladder. So you neurocepted danger when you saw the tickle thing happening. You neurocepted safety when you saw the dog. So basically, these three states unlock different behaviors. When you're in a safety state, it unlocks the ability to use pro-social behaviors, to make eye contact, to smile, to crinkle your eyes. It unlocks all these abilities that you don't have when you drop down the ladder. So when you go to flight, fight, that does unlock other behaviors like running away, fighting, being aggressive. But the last one, shutdown, unlocks the ability to collapse or go numb or dissociate, kind of detach from the world. So each of these states is there for a reason. It's all about survival. And they unlock different behavior sets. So the kids that I work with in the school district, a lot of them don't have access to their safe and social engagement system that top the ladder. They don't have access to it all the time. So that's what therapy is all about. So when we move down the ladder, we lose access to the behaviors higher up the ladder. If you're in a shutdown place, you're not fighting anybody. Getting the energy to even try to fight something is just not to happen. Any questions about that? Feel free to ask questions, by the way. So people who go to the bottom of the ladder, to get to the top of the ladder, you have to go through each state. So if you're in this shutdown, sort of like depressed place, you don't just pop back up to the top of the ladder, you're good. Right? You have to go through exactly. So the kids that I work with, the ones that are very dissociative, shut down place, they have to go through this anger, power sort of thing. It doesn't mean you have to fight someone, but it does mean that energy has to kind of come back up within you. So then, so you have to go to fight, and then flight, and then into your safe and social system. But we don't just do that. We have to have cues of safety. That means we have to have a safe relationship. And you're all parents here, right? The kids have to have a safe relationship. You have to receive cues of safety like smiles, connection, soft presence, stuff like that. The nervous system is use dependent. That means it adapts based on the needs of survival. If you have to get your needs met by being angry and fighting, your nervous system will adapt to that and it'll stay there. We don't want to stay in these states. We want to work our way back to the ladder. But what happens is if we have to exist in a shutdown place where we kind of like dissociate and have to separate from our family, at least mentally, that our nervous system kind of becomes used to that. Kind of not really default state, but we kind of stay there. We get stuck there. Does that make sense? A lot of the kids I work with, they're stuck in a flight state. They can't exactly leave their home because they're dependent on their family. They can't exactly fight their family, so they're sort of stuck. And their nervous system becomes stuck in this place of being in flight mode. So when they go to school, they're still in that state, even though they're no longer in a dangerous situation. So if we're stuck, it can become chronic. Not permanent, not necessarily permanent, but we can get stuck there. And this then becomes the way that we filter the world. If we're in a fight mode all the time, we now perceive the external world as threatening. Everything. A lot of kids I work with will fight at the drop of a hat.
So when they stuck there, it's they lose normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Sadly, but it's not necessarily permanent though.
Yeah.
But yeah. There's two things called one, healthy neuroception. The second one is unhealthy neuroception. With healthy neuroception, the body detects and shifts up and down to the appropriate state based on the environment. That's ideally what we want, okay? The body uses social behavior in a safe environment. So if a kid goes into school, they sit down, hopefully it's a safe environment, they detect that, and they use their pro-social skills. The body does not use defenses in a safe environment. It does not fight, it does not run away, it does not feel like anxious. Unhealthy neuroception is when the body does not accurately detect or shift up and down the ladder based on the environment. So the body does not fight or flee when it's unsafe. So basically the body's not picking up on safety cues. A lot of kids I work with, again, I work in the school district, when they go to school, they're not picking up on the unhealthy neuroception. They're not picking up on the safety cues from the teacher or from their peers if it's a safe environment. So they're not picking up on those things. There's a phrase that I love, it's called story follow state. When we shift up and down the ladder, or if we get stuck in a new normal, our brain attempts to explain why. So it makes up these stories. The stories could be right or could be wrong. Our brains, we hear a lot about our brains and trauma and whatnot, but what I want you to take away from this is our brain attempts to place meaning on a situation. It looks for patterns, it looks for ways to survive, kind of, but it attempts to place meaning on the situations. So the teacher hates me, there's no point in trying. That's why I'm shut down, not because of everything I went through, but I'm in the state because of this person. It's making a story, it's attempting to explain. Or that blankety blank keeps staring at me. I hear this from the kids I work with all the time. They're staring at me, that's why I call them. They're staring at me. The stare, they may not have been staring, but their filter, they're not perceiving someone look at them as a stare. And a neutral face for someone who's in flight, fight, or shutdown is a danger cue. They don't know how to interpret that. In a safe and social state, a flat affect, just someone just looking. If I'm in a safe and social place, it's a non-issue, I don't care. But if you're down the ladder, it's like, oh, like something's up. You're thinking something about it. Safe and social. This is the newest, this evolved over time. This is the newest autonomic nervous system state that we have, human beings have. Actually, so do dogs, so do primates. I mean, actually, mammals have safe and social systems. When we're in a safety place, we efficiently detect cues. We can instantaneously socially engage with others. We don't really choose to socially engage with other people. We just do, right? You smile at someone else. If you're in a good place, you just smile at someone else. You say hello, right? You have a fuller range of facial expressions. You can make eye contact, but not like threatening eye contact. You make gentle eye contact. You can be closer to someone else who is safe. You can use your physical gestures and postures are more relaxed. You can hear human voice and tune out other noises. Think about, I don't do this, but anyone ever go to like a club or dance, hour dance or something? But anybody ever like go to places where there's loud music and you dance? That's not my thing, but yes, okay.
Yeah.
You hear human voice, right?
Yeah.
Lots of music, tons of stimulation, but you can still tune in.
Yeah, but you that safe spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're in a good place, so you can
Right.
hear human voice. But you have to be in a safe place. So the last one is prosody. Prosody is the ability to use the full range of your voice, like up and down. Like when you ask a question, you go, how are you doing? Hopefully you don't say that, but you get the idea. Like when you ask a question, you at the end of it, you come up. You're using a full range of voice. Alright. So in this clip, you already know.
There's a class you know no one
But
did.
who's using prosody, which means they're in their safe and social state, and who's not? Who has the full range of their voice, basically?
The young lady who just
Simone, yeah. Yeah, right there. Simone has the full range of her voice. She's sing-songy, she's up and down, and when things were serious, she said, it's gotten pretty serious. Like she dropped her voice to show it's more serious. Who did not have prosody, who did not have the full range of their voice? The guy in the back, the teacher. The teacher obviously. No. So what the teacher is showing is he's not in a safe and social state. He's actually giving danger cues by losing the prosody of his voice. The boy in the back, Anderson, I think his name was, at first he ignored the teacher and said, here! And he went, he wasn't taking full breaths. His voice is very direct, pretty aggressive. He's more of a fight state.
So since the teacher didn't have it, did the teacher project that to the student?
What happens, so what the teacher's projecting is that he's not in a safe social place.
Yeah.
That he's lost access to it.
Right.
So if I was up here talking like this and not moving around a whole lot,
So I'm gonna.
you're nervous. You would neurostep like what's
Wait a minute. Exactly.
exactly yeah. So hopefully I'm projecting I'm a safe and social person. My mouth is kind of dry. I'm a little bit nervous, but so this teacher is projecting that he's not in a safe and social place. So the nervous system of the kids is kind of going to match it. They're going to drop down their own ladder a little bit. But Simone, she's in a good place. She can handle it. And for the most part, kids in class can handle this kind of stuff. Kids who've been traumatized or exist more down the ladder, they're going to have a hard time to hear a voice like this, and this is still be okay with it. It's going to make them actually probably more antsy. So the experience of safety, the world is safe, fun, peaceful. You can soothe, you can be soothed, calm, happy, meditative, engaged. Hopefully we exist in these states. It's not possible to be in this place all the time. Ideally, what we want to do is to be able to drop down the ladder and come right back up when we need to. When we're safe and social, the negative is interpreted as neutral or unimportant. So the kid in class that stares, they're just weird. It's not about me, they're just weird. Or they're just having a bad day. Boss is having a bad day, it's not about me.
Right.
Or I can improve my grade on the next test. Oh well, I know I did wrong, I can study more next time. So it's not important, I can deal with it again. I can do better next time. But in order to get access and to stay in your safe and social engagement system, you have to have ongoing opportunities for safe interactions with other people, with other safe people. Not just once every now and then, but ongoing interactions with safe people. That's why teachers can be so important in education. Reliable relationships based on reciprocity, something like give and take, empathy, understanding how you feel, being compassionate, being loving. But reliable relationships. So I know that person is going to be there for me when I get home. I know that teacher. I know they're going to be safe. I know that teacher cares. I know how that teacher is going to talk. I know where they're going to stand. So it's reliable. This person's not going to abandon me or leave my life. You need time spent with safe people doing shared activities like play or shared work. A lot of the kids that I meet with do not have an adult in their life that they actually play with, like play. And they hang out with kids and play, but that's not exactly what we're talking about. Play with adults is, like there's a safe connection. We'll talk more about play actually in a little bit, so I'll leave that for where it is. You need low stress and environmental safety, so when you go into class, you need actual safety, not gunshots, trains riding by, and this is stuff that I deal with in school district. Or kids screaming outside the door. You need actual safety. But you also need the perception of safety. So you need to perceive, even if like I can hear all those loud noises outside and I'm neurocepting, there's some sort of danger. If I perceive that I'm safe, then I'll be safe. Safety is not safe what I see a lot with the kids that I work with is that when they work their way up the ladder in therapy and they reach this place of social engagement, of being able to connect with me, make eye contact, and use their voice, it's hard to stay there. It's very uncomfortable to be vulnerable and trusting with someone, especially if people have betrayed that trust in the past. It's extremely difficult for them to stay in this safe and social state. Some pictures of actually all mammals in their safe and social system. This actually applies across, who has a dog? Or I guess a cat? Do cats they really like feel connected? I don't know. But dogs, you don't miss it. They show you where their nervous system is at. They show you with their ears, their tail, their eye contact. They show you when they drop down the ladder. When they look away, they tuck their tail in their legs. Like they show you in their own way as well. So mammals do this. Flight and fight. This is survival mode. When you drop down the ladder into flight and fight, you're now in survival mode. So your pain tolerance goes up. That will help you with running away. It's evolved within you to be able to help with running away or fighting. So even though a kid may perceive they're in danger in the classroom, that's different than, being chased by a rabid dog or something like that. But the point is that your pain tolerance goes up. You're better able to scan the environment for danger. Your breathing becomes shorter and faster. This increases your heart rate and results in a faster rate of speaking since we're inhaling less. So the kid in the clip in the back who said here, he was taking very short breaths. He could not speak for a long period of time. We're no longer in our safe and social state. We're creating distance between ourselves and others. If we're in flight mode, we kind of pull back. We create distance. Now we're perceiving, if we're stuck there, now we're perceiving everybody else as a potential threat. So we want more space. We're no longer giving or identifying safe facial cues. Our face goes flat, basically. If we're dropped down the ladder, we lose access to show our feelings on our face. And now we're seeing neutral faces, like I said before, as a threat. Our middle ear muscles turn off. Now we're more attuned to high noises and low noises. So screams for help or rumble, like deep growling noises that signify danger. So the kids in class that are more traumatized, flight, fight sort of place where they're stuck, they literally may not be able to hear the teacher because they're more attuned to high and low danger sounds and not the middle part where the mammal voice atrocity lives. They literally may not be able to hear very well. Or if they do, they may misinterpret the meaning of what's being said. The daily experience of flight, this doesn't mean you're actually running away. It might, but there's a day-to-day experience. Anxiety, kind of panic, that's a little bit different, but anxiety, fear, dread, being on guard, being hypervigilant, always seeing danger around you. Anyone here foot tap, leg shake when they're in meetings or sitting still or whatever? I grind my teeth a lot. Pen clicking or grinding teeth. Fight mode, daily experience, anger, rage, irritation, aggression, clenched muscles, clenched fists. But for both of these, they're both the sympathetic system, the motor's going. For both of these, flat affect, your eyes are going to go wider. You're more distractible because you're always sensing danger. Think about kids with ADHD that we call ADHD. Really, they're constantly it looks a lot like this, right? Sitting upright or forward. So if you're more activated, you're going to sit upright. And if you're more aggressive, you're going to sit forward. Shallow breathing in your shoulders. Who takes a deep breath like this? Into your chest or your shoulders? Do you? A lot. It's very common. A lot of people do. But that's more your fight state. You're not calm enough to breathe into your belly. So we do a lot of belly breathing therapy to teach kids how to calm down. Not hearing safe people, sensing danger everywhere, speaking faster, louder. So with flight, fight, you're seeing danger everywhere. You're better at scanning for danger, but that doesn't mean you're better at recognizing actual danger. What happens is you're kind of seeing danger everywhere. That is now the filter you see the world. So coming out of danger is absolutely possible. It's supposed to be where you sense danger, run away, get to safety, you use up the energy, and you're good. That's the way it's built within us. It's supposed to happen that way. Things like running, pushing, lifting, or fighting. Think about parents that lift up a car to to save their kid. They're supposed to use the energy all at once, and then you're done. A cheetah that's chasing after a gazelle, the gazelle runs away. When it gets to safety, it's not traumatized. All the energy is burnt out. It's safe. It's back in the herd. It's good. So that's the way it's supposed to go. But for kids or even adults who cannot escape the environments that they're in, it doesn't work that way. That's where it becomes the new norm. That's where it gets stuck. Some examples of flight fight. So up at the top, the face, the eyebrows go down. Obviously, it's angered. Leaning forward, you can have someone else's space. Bottom, running away. So shutdown. This is where we hear a lot about people who survive something, and they get questioned, why did you do this, why did you do that, why? So shutdown is actually a means to survive a situation. It's built within us. It's a state we enter we can't run away or fight. It's not a choice. It's the bottom of the ladder. If we can't run away and we can't fight, we have one option left, which is to shut down. Go numb, escape our bodies basically, just to get through the situation. It's playing dead, collapse, playing possum, that kind of stuff. You ever seen a mouse caught in the jaws of a cat and it goes limp? It's not dead, it's playing dead. Because there might be a chance for it to escape. So playing dead and being numb allows for the possibility that if that cat puts me down, if that cat takes me to his kittens and they start batting around, playing around me, now I can pop up out of my shutdown and run away. And that's exactly what animals in the wild do. Is they go into shutdown, but they don't stay there. They wait for the moment. Not that they're consciously doing it, but they're neurocepting. Is the predator still close by? Is the predator, am I still in the jaws? That. So once it perceives that it can escape, it snaps out of it and runs away. And all the energy comes back up. So the daily experience of being in shutdown, you can absolutely get stuck in shutdown. Numb, hopeless, abandoned, foggy, tired, coldness inside, not under steam, but on the inside. Because your blood circulation is really slow. Everything's just kind of shut down. And then pressure on your chest. It feels like pressure, but what's happening is your lungs are not expanding as far as they were, so it feels like pressure. What does it sound like? Depression? Yes, this is someone who's depressed. This is very much the way they live day to day, right? Some examples of shutdown. But see how, notice their posture. People that I meet with that are more shut down place, they're really kind of folded inward. Just mustering the ability to say hello is difficult. Elsa is grasping her chest, like she feels the pressure on her chest. Flat affect for everybody right there. It is possible to come out of this life threat. This is where you drop the shutdown when you perceive your life is actually in danger. Your body perceives I'm going to die. So it shuts down. Human beings, we don't have a great way to get out of shutdown. We can do it. Wild animals is a non-issue. They come out of shutdown, run away, and they're good. But coming out of this state requires a gentle, slow return of energy. I was talking to someone today, actually. She's a therapist who does a lot of polyvagal stuff. And she was saying, think about a turtle. They go inward into the shell, right? To get that turtle to come out, you don't go up to it and like knock on the shell, right? You slowly allow it to come out when it feels safe. You use not that we talk to turtles, but you give it slow cues of safety that on a safe person, safe environment, come out when you're ready, basically. You don't force them to come out of their shell. Getting out of the state requires calm, quiet, a lot of stillness, and then reorienting to the environment using your eyes. So just being still and using your eyes to look around. There's something about that it helps reorienting. Like, where am I at? I'm in my body. I'm in this room. It's called reorienting. So what we have so far is we have this sequence of state shifts, right? The first one is we detect danger at the top. We attempt to first use our voice to negotiate safety, to say, hey, like if someone walks up, I'm at an ATM, this is my nightmare. I'm at an ATM, someone walks up on me. The first thing I'm going to do is like, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm going to use my voice to say, oh. But if that person doesn't stop, I'm going to take away my social engagement. My body's first response is going to be to run away. It's not about being macho. It's not. My body's evolutionary response is, I'm going to get to safety. But if I can't, then I'm going to go into fight mode. But if I can't fight back for whatever reason, then my then I'll shut down.
This shit.
Not just me, but all of us. If we're in a situation where we perceive that we cannot escape or fight back. And think about, this is not just like that stereotypical sort of situation where you're getting like mugged or something like that. Kids who go to see a principal, there's a status differential there. So the perception of safety is already like, it's not quite there. Unless that principal feels really bad for kids. But the perception of, I'm in trouble, my parents are being called, so it's like danger, danger, danger. So it's not just being attacked. It's the situation that you're in. Does that make sense?
Right.
It's the perceptions of
They shut
safety.
down the principal office and don't speak, don't talk to the shut down.
Yeah. So, it could be principals, police officers, parents. My parents are bigger than me. They control all my stuff. They control the food in the house. I'm completely dependent on them. I can't run away and go anywhere else. So there's, right off the bat, there's a differential there as far as safety is concerned. It is possible to mix these states. And no one really exists in like a pure flight mode. That doesn't really, we don't see it day to day. But it is possible to mix these states. The first one's called freeze. That's where we want to run away or fight, but our body also perceives that we're in danger, our life's in danger, so it's like a combination, and that's called freeze. Freeze is different than shutdown. So freeze is where you literally like freeze. This could also happen where if you want to run away or fight, but then you're immobilized. So somebody forces you to immobilize, and the energy stays stuck within you. But so freeze day to day feels like panic. Have you ever had panic attacks? Don't raise your hand if you don't want to, but I know for me, when I drive over this certain highway, the one in Walnut, it's like an arch. It goes to Walnut Creek. Yeah, I forget the name of it, but it's not like it's like a bridge. I'm sorry, it's like an arch. And that, for me, it's like all I see is blue sky, and my body, my heart rate picks way up. My arms go tense on the steering wheel. My breathing's like. And it's nowhere else besides that bridge. But for some reason, that's, for me, on neurocept. I'm in danger. I want to run away, but I can't. So look, I'm shutting down at the same time. So the next big state is stillness. That's where you're safe and social, but you're also shut down. That's where you can lay down and go to sleep. People who aren't in a safe and social place, when they attempt to shut down, to immobilize, to be still, it's a very scary experience. So kids that go into school, who are not able to be in their safe and social place, when they attempt to sit still, it's a big challenge for them. They don't feel safe doing that. People who lay down and go to sleep, who are not in a safe and social place, all kinds of anxiety comes up. It's not a safe experience to be still. Okay? Play. Being safe and social at the top, plus flight and fight. You're mobilized, you're chasing each other, you're playing tag, you're using physical touch, running, playing hide and seek, you're immobilizing, really kind of freezing, honestly. You're being quiet, you're still. But you can't do that unless you have access to your safe and social system. And when you play, you make a lot of eye contact, you use a lot of your voice, like you know the other person is safe. Alright, so tell me, are these two dogs playing or no? You already said no? You already know, okay. But how do you know they're not safe? How do you know they're not playing? How do you know they're not playing?
Yeah.
There are tense. Yeah, you're right. But how does their voice sound? How do you know they're angry though? What's telling me they're angry? Showing their teeth, the bark is deep, the growling.
Yeah.
They've lost access to their safe and social engagement system. The other thing is that one of them was turning their face. If you turn your face away, that means I'm not in a good place.
Right.
Think about if you're talking to a spouse, a friend, if they just look away, like what happens? You feel like, whoa, you lost something, right? You feel like a shift. So that dog is like, I'm not in a good place and turning away. They were dead serious about those toys.
It was the food.
I thought it was a little ducky right there.
There was a bowl.
A little duck.
No.
There's food over there?
Yeah. Yes.
That's her cushion.
So was he protected?
But that one don't know it. He don't know this.
Alright, so are these two playing?
I'm safe.
Or no? Oh, come on. So someone in there, someone who's dropped down the ladder, they don't do that very well. Think about the kids who don't play well with others. For some reason it becomes way too real. When they're playing with someone else and they're hurting the other person, it's because having access to their safe and social system and their fight system is very difficult. It's a huge challenge. And usually what happens is they're mobilized for playing, but I don't know how to handle my mobilization. I don't know how to handle my fight state. So we lose access to the safety piece of it, which is, it's not play unless you're both safe. Oh, so here's some pictures of people being still. So intimacy, hugs, baby sleeping, sitting still in the classroom and learning. If you can't be still, this becomes pretty much impossible to be able to sit there and take in new information. Hopefully where we're at is as you're hearing these things, you're thinking about depression and anxiety and all the mental health kind of stuff. But this is an issue of being stuck. Not an illness, not a disease, you're stuck in an autonomic nervous system state. It's a lot different than just telling someone you're born depressed, you're born anxious, or it's a genetic thing or whatever. It's an issue of being stuck, is how the Polyvagal Theory interprets. Human beings, we get stuck. We get stuck, not wild animals do not. Animals in your home, they might, because they're around other nervous systems. They can't exactly escape. They can't go anywhere. They're stuck within the parameters of your house and your fence, right? And if you're not in a good place, they're going to feed off it. They feel that. Your dogs, your animals will feel that. Human beings, when we try to move up the ladder, when our nervous system tries to move up the ladder, we feel things like fear. We feel things like panic or anxiety, and so it keeps us shut down. We create stories in our head about why we feel that way. And those stories, those thoughts, beliefs, those images, those blame, judgments, they keep us stuck in these states. Does that make sense? So it's my fault. I shouldn't have worn that, whatever. I deserve it, I'm a lovable way. All these thoughts keep us stuck down the ladder, okay? Isolating ourselves keeps us stuck down the ladder in the traumatized state. A lot of the kids I work with, they cry by themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, and it can be helpful. But think about crying by yourself versus crying at a funeral, where there's someone with you, you're hugging, it's more open, it's more connection, it's a safe, hopefully a safe experience. Crying by yourself doesn't quite work the same way, I don't think. And then keeping secrets. Keeping secrets keeps us stuck in trauma also. There's lots of things that we do as human beings that animals don't do that keep us stuck in these states of trauma. If we didn't do these things, it is very possible to work our way up the ladder. We're not broken. A lot of people, if they're in a depressive, anxious place, they feel broken. A lot of shame, a lot of judgment come along with that. It is not an issue of being broken. It's stuck. That's it. So being stuck, there's a possibility of coming up the ladder. There's hope there. But saying I am depressed or I am this way and defining yourself in that way, to me, it feels a lot more permanent. So we're stuck, not broken. Okay? And I think that when I work with kids, and hopefully all of you see your kids this way, I don't know what they're presenting with, but they absolutely can reach their social engagement system. It's a challenge, obviously, but it's possible that it's a stuck issue, not a broken. So what we can do about it is something called co-regulation. We want kids to be able to self-regulate. We want kids to be able to go into class, focus, do the work, deal with their emotional stuff. We want them to self-regulate, but that's not realistic. Self-regulation comes after co-regulation. We as parents and teachers with students, first we project safety. That's called co-regulation. We're giving cues of safety. And then self-regulation is built on top of that. So there's something called ruptures. There's a lot of pieces of co-regulation. I kind of whittled it down to this. Ruptures are routine events that lead us away from safety. So looking at a cell phone, think about when you're with a friend and they just bust their cell phone out and it feels like they tuned you out, like I've lost something, right? That's called a rupture. And as parents, like we do this all the time, or if we're cooking or something like that, they're trying to talk to us, they feel like I've lost something, I've lost their attention. Ruptures, they can easily lead to self-criticism. So if someone looks away while I'm talking, it must be because I'm a bad presenter, right? That turns into me criticizing. I create a story to explain why I lost someone's attention. That's on me, like I blame myself. I don't actually, but that's example. This can be experienced as a withdrawal or confrontation. Again, if someone looks away, I've lost, it's a feeling of loss, right? Like a small feeling of like, what just happened? I thought we were good, and all of a sudden he looked away, and Or a confrontation where like someone does look directly at you, makes eye contact with you, might be like, oh, like where did that come from? It might be like a pullback. It might be too much eye contact. It might not be safe eye contact. So when we have these little ruptures, we have to repair them. A lot of kids I work with, they don't have the opportunity to repair some of the ruptures that have been done in their lives, big ones and small ones. But as parents, day to day, we have to repair. We have to make apologies if we did something wrong or whatever. We gotta say, sorry about that. That's on me. I didn't hear you when you said this thing. I do this for some reason when I pick up my kids after school, after work. I don't hear them very well. Like I literally will get in my car and I just need quiet time, I guess. Because my daughter will get in the car and hopefully she'll watch this. I love you, but it's just like constant. And that's a good thing. I want to be able to be present, but I'm like, God, I'm not there for you right now. So I may have to say to her later on, I'm sorry about that. I really want to hear your day is extremely important to me. I want to hear about your friends. But for some reason in the car, I need like some downtime after I get off work. So it's repairing a rupture. Think about a baby who cries when the mom removes their attention or is not available. That's a rupture. And the mom hears that, and that cry of a baby, it triggers something with the mom or the dad too. And we get up and say, oh, I gotta fix this. And so we go repair the rupture by giving them attention or whatever they need, right? Face-to-face interaction is a big part of co-regulation. This is specifically using the upper part of the face. If we're in a safe and social place, we can use this area. When we're not, when we drop in the ladder, we lose access to this area. So we really communicate our level of safety, especially with this area up here. So muscles around the eyes. Think about when you listen to someone. Like if you really listen to someone, like your eyes kind of crinkle, right? Like you really want to know what's going on. Like your eyes crinkle. That tells the other person what? That I'm safe. If I can do this, that means my nervous system is in a safe place. So smiling, when we smile, our eyes crinkle. When we have like a natural smile, like a fake smile, like there's no eye crinkle. Inner ear muscles during face-to-face interaction in a safe place. They'll be able to basically attune to the person in front of you. So are these two people, these two individuals, are they safe? How can you tell? But what about their eyes though? There is like a joy, yeah, that's right, yeah.
You can see the smile in their eyes.
That's right.
Yeah, right. So there's a little bit of crinkles there, right? Like they have eye crinkles. Their cheek muscles are up. They're safe?
Yeah.
Alright, ready?
Yeah.
How about these two?
No.
Yeah, he's scared.
No, not so much.
She looks like she doesn't know whether to smile or what.
I love hearing
The question on his face, but yes.
I love the explanation people come up with about these two.
Yeah.
She's probably like.
She's caught in the middle. That's what it seems like.
So, but you don't believe it, right?
No.
You don't believe it. Like there's something that maybe it's a smile, but yeah. But for him, no, we don't feel safe, right? Like, did you feel a shift? Like when you saw his eyes, did you like, whoa?
Oh yeah.
Right? That's just like you felt a little stage shift there.
Oh, she knows it. She's like,
She's caught. That's that look.
Not that fake smile.
That is definitely.
So they're not safe, right? That's my grandpa, by the way. Sorry.
How old
It's a little picture. How about us as parents? I have two. I have a daughter, she's 10, and a son who's about to be 4. How about us as parents? Did we ever get stuck in these states? Maybe for a long time, maybe for a little bit of time, but we absolutely go up and down the ladder. Right? We're not exempt. It's extremely important that we connect to creating safe attachments. It's a challenge. It's absolutely a huge challenge just with my own biological children. I'm only imagining that as a foster parent, there's probably an added level of challenge there, right? I never told you. I used to work at county mental health as well. A lot of foster kids would come through there every now and then at the school district for me, but usually at county mental health, I was working with a lot of foster families. So we have to be a safe person. In order to connect, we have to be in a safe and social state. Ideally, we were playing and expressing love, but I know for a lot of us, if we didn't get this growing up, it's very difficult to do this. I've done parenting groups for the past 10 years, and every single parent I've worked with loves their kid, but expressing that based on their own upbringing, enormous challenge. But we really have to be able to find a way for us that feels safe enough and feels genuine. So again, may not have experienced safe connections in the past. fear of abandonment, fear of repeating their parents' mistakes. Kind of what I'm talking about. But we have to be able to tap into the love and care and compassion that we have for our kids and pull from that rather than all the other stuff. Reacting up based on their own stuck defensive state. So if we perceive danger when it's not actually there, we're going to react out of a fight kind of state. So if it's bath time and they say no, there's no danger there. But do we have a reaction to that? We might, right? But there's no danger there. But it's our perception of the situation. A lot of us might be carrying guilt, shame, being overwhelmed. We carry this stuff around with us. It gets stuck within us. It's very important that we stay in, and it's not possible to always be in a safe and social state. I don't expect anyone to do that. I'm not perfect either. But we do need to be able to return to it. We need to be able to spot when we're dropping down the ladder and what that feels like, and then be able to say, oh, now's the time for me to take a deep breath. Come right back up if I can. So all those little feelings that we had watching those videos, like what can you pull from that you know, oh, I just dropped down the ladder. That's how it felt to drop down the ladder. You know what I mean?
I think you have to recognize this.
Right.
Yeah. So you can come up to say the social.
It's a big challenge.
Yeah.
It's a big challenge, but it requires that we are willing to constantly, in a non-judgmental way, look at it within ourselves. Because we can look. I know we all look within ourselves. We judge and we have blame and shame and all that stuff. But really, it's more about curiosity. What did that feel like for me? So with these videos, it's a safe way to be like, well, what was that like for you to shift? To feel like a little bit of like a pause or a pullback or a tenseness. But those are our cues to recognize, hopefully, and come right back up the ladder, take a deep breath. Usually for me, it's just like, take a deep breath, let it out, remind myself how much I love my kids, and I'm good. For me, that's all I need. Parents that are more in a defensive state, so their consequences might be too much or might be too little. If you're in a fight state, the consequences might be way too much. So we can't react from our defensive states. We have to react from passion and love. And if it's hard to tap into that, have a structure of this is what I'm going to do when this happens. Not this is how I feel, so here's your punishment or consequence. It is possible to pass on traumas. This comes from unhealthy attachments. If we can't attach to a safe adult, that sends us down the ladder. If we can't be in a safe, trusting relationship with a parent, we're always down the ladder, basically. We have to have that in order to build self-regulation, in order to know what a healthy relationship is, healthy friendship, all those kind of things. So if we don't have a healthy attachment with someone, and then we go out in the world, our ability to recognize safety cues and danger cues is severely compromised. I work with a lot of teen girls, and boys know how to exploit. Not just boys, honestly, but potential partnerships know how to exploit the state that they're in. Because their ability to recognize, it's not just girls either, but their ability to recognize a safe relationship, or to recognize, oh, I just felt something in here because of that. While I'm around this person, I felt this thing in my gut. Their ability to recognize that gets severely compromised. So healthy attachment is extremely important. We pass on coping mechanisms, like keeping secrets. We pass on ignoring issues. We pass on blaming. We pass on arguing. Substance abuse. All this stuff we can kind of pass on in a way. So it's extremely important that we co-regulate effectively. And traumas, the kids I work with, like it's this generational same traumas get repeated. Yeah. So we have to take care of ourselves. Self-care is extremely important. We need to be in our safe and social place too. But we also need co-regulation from safe people. We need friendships that are safe. We need relationships that are safe. We're not different than kids. So things like movement can be really important. Even if we don't have that great relationship, if we can move, listen to music can be a great way to work your way back up the ladder. Singing, play, just anything that kind of gets you moving to use that energy in some way can be really, really helpful. Well, we have to take care of ourselves as well, obviously. So that's it. I do have a podcast. It's called the Polyvagal Podcast. It's available. That's me. It's available pretty much everywhere, Apple and Google and whatnot. My co-host, that's Mercedes right there, Mercedes Corona. She's a coworker of mine. She's absolutely amazing. Usually we do this presentation together for the school district. We presented to cops, teachers, therapists, therapists, social workers. It's a lot of fun. So hopefully you got something out of this. I'm very much open to questions if you have them.
Very safe.
Thank you. I know it's a lot of information at a fast pace, so if there's anything you must have before leaving this room, let me know.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
welcome.